Okay, so today we're diving deep into retrieval-augmented generation.
Are gray, for short.
Okay.
And I know you've been digging into this Google Cloud article on it.
Yeah.
Clearly this idea of AI that can access and process information in a more powerful way,
Hmm.
that's got you intrigued.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's interesting stuff, and that's what R Gray is all about, right?
Yeah, so it's like, we've been talking about AI a lot, and
Right.
one of the things with AI is it's existed,
Yeah.
previously, is that it's been limited by the data it was trained on, right?
It's like frozen in time.
It is. It's static.
Yeah.
And so R Gray is really interesting because it allows AI to access the most up-to-date information whenever it needs it.
Wow.
So it's no longer using this kind of static data set.
Yeah, so no more outdated info. No more generic answers.
Exactly.
This is AI that can actually pull from the latest research, the latest articles, whatever's relevant,
Whatever makes the most sense for that query.
right when you need it.
Yes.
Okay, so how does it actually work, though?
So think about it like a detective
Okay.
solving a case.
Mm-hmm.
So the first stage of RE Lang
Mm-hmm.
is what's called retrieval and pre-processing.
Okay.
And this is our detective going out and
Gathering clues.
gathering clues. Exactly.
Okay.
They're examining records. They're zeroing in on the most important pieces of evidence.
So instead of just like dumping all the data
Yes.
on the AI, it's more about pinpointing the most relevant stuff.
It's giving it that focus. Exactly.
Okay, and this is where I know those vector databases come in.
Yes.
Which sounds very,
very technical.
yeah, very technical.
But it's a really cool concept.
But it's organizing information not just by topic, but by the meaning of the
Yeah,
words,
Exactly. Exactly.
which seems incredibly complex.
So it's all about, how do we get AI to understand
Yeah,
the nuances of language
right.
and be able to sift through this enormous amount of information to find what's relevant.
Yeah,
And it's, I always use the example of like a really good librarian
okay.
who can kind of read between the lines of your question
Right.
and be able to pull out those really relevant resources. So
Okay, so this is already way more efficient
Yeah,
than how I find information.
and we're just in the first stage.
I'm just getting started.
So the AI has gathered its clues.
Okay.
What happens next?
So the next stage is called generation.
Okay.
And this is where our detective takes all those clues, combines it with their own experience, their deduction skills,
Right.
and they use that to crack the case.
Okay.
And so in the same way, our GRE will then use the information it retrieved
Yes.
along with all of its training
Okay.
to generate a response
Okay.
that is not only well written,
Right.
but it's actually aligned with what the user was asking.
So it's this combination of like knowledge, but then also like real-time research in a way.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's talk about like what this actually means for like a person.
Sure.
Somebody who wants to gain knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Like let's break down the benefits a little bit.
All
Starting
right.
with this access to updated info, like this
Yeah.
to me seems huge.
It is huge because we've always been, especially with AI, kind of limited by, like that last update, so to speak. It's like using an encyclopedia from 1995. Like
Yeah.
there's good information in there,
Right.
but you're missing like, decades worth of updates.
Exactly.
So RAG is really cool because it can access the most current information.
Mm-hmm.
You're always getting the latest insights.
So it really is like
It's like a constantly updating library.
Yeah.
So you're never in the dark.
That's the dream, right?
Exactly.
No more worrying about
Yep.
whether what I'm reading is irrelevant
Exactly.
or outdated.
You're not going to be, using outdated information to make decisions,
Yeah.
which is so key in this day and age where things are changing so rapidly.
Yeah, it's about staying ahead of the curve, which I know is something that you value.
Absolutely. And, this whole thing about having access to the latest info,
Right.
it plays into another really cool benefit, which is factual grounding.
Okay.
Because one of the things that, we talked about with AI, there's always that risk
Yeah.
of hallucinations.
Right, where it's just like making stuff up.
Exactly. It's like, where did you get that from?
Like I've seen those AI-generated articles
Yes.
that, at first glance, they seem legit.
Right.
But then you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
it's completely off base.
Yeah. This is not accurate.
Not exactly what you want when you're trying to learn something.
Especially when you're trying to, learn and really delve into something.
Right.
You want to make sure that the information is accurate. Yeah. And so RGreg really helps to minimize those hallucinations because it's grounding.
So it's like a built-in fact checker almost.
It is. It is. It's like having a research assistant there.
What?
That's double checking everything.
That level of accuracy has got to be, I mean, that's crucial.
It's huge. Yeah, especially in a world where we're bombarded with so much information.
Right, and trying to figure out what's legit and what's not.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're good on the accuracy front.
We're getting there.
Okay, what else?
So because it's pulling this information that's directly relevant to your query,
right.
Another benefit is contextual relevance. So it's not just giving you, like...
Right, not just like dumping data.
It's not a data dump.
It's giving you the stuff that actually is aligned with what you're looking for.
It understands the context.
It's like it knows what I'm thinking, even when I don't have the words.
Exactly.
Which, let's be honest, is a lot of the time for me.
Well, and I think, for all of us, right.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the context.
So with that contextual relevance, you also get factual consistency.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
So it's not going to, like, contradict itself 5 minutes later.
Exactly. It's sticking to the script.
Okay.
It's sticking to the information that it retrieved.
No more AI flip-flopping.
Exactly.
Which, honestly, can be a little frustrating.
It can be. You're
like, wait a minute, you just said this.
You just told me this was the case, and now you're saying it's not.
Exactly.
So RAG really helps with that. And so... really, all of these benefits culminate in what is ultimately like the heart of it, which is improved response accuracy.
Okay, so it all comes back to
It all comes back to that.
Getting the information you need.
Yes.
When you need it.
Exactly.
In a way that actually makes sense.
Exactly. It's giving you the information you need. Okay. In a way that is accurate, that is consistent.
This is like next level learning here.
It is. It really is. It's about enhancing our ability to learn and process information.
Okay, so we can't talk about RAG without mentioning like the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Right.
Or should I say the search engine in the room?
Just search engine, yes.
Which is Google, right?
Yes.
Because this article that you sent, it really focuses on Google Cloud's work.
Yeah. It's really interesting how Google is approaching this.
Yeah.
Because they're not just talking about it. They're actually making it accessible through their cloud platform.
So they're really like putting their money where their mouth is.
They are. They are really invested in this.
Okay, so what are some of the things that stood out to you about like what they're offering?
So they've got a few key offerings that are really interesting. Okay. First, there's Vertex AI Search.
Okay.
Which is essentially a ready-to-go RG system.
Okay.
It's basically like they're providing all the building blocks for developers to integrate RG into their applications.
Okay.
So it's making it easier for people to use it. It's not like you have to start from scratch. You can just plug it in.
Okay.
Another important piece is Vertex AI Vector Search.
Okay.
And this is really where that magic of semantic understanding comes into play.
Really?
Remember those vector databases we were talking about?
Yeah.
This is like a tool to really leverage that power.
Okay.
And it allows AI to search based on meaning.
Yeah.
Not just keywords, so
it's not just like I type in a word, it gives me a bunch of random stuff.
Exactly.
It actually understands what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the search capabilities.
Yeah.
But where's all this data coming from?
That's where BigQuery comes in, which is Google Cloud's massive data warehousing solution.
Okay.
It's designed to handle, enormous data sets.
So it's like the fuel for this whole thing.
It is. It's like the backbone.
It's like you need that data to make it work.
Exactly. So they're not only making RAG accessible, they're also providing the infrastructure to support it on a massive scale.
Okay.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. But I think what really captures the imagination is how RAG could change the way we interact with information on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And the article, it actually mentioned RAG being used in chatbots.
Right.
And that's a really compelling use case.
It is. It is.
Imagine having a conversation with an AI that can pull up any fact, any study, any expert opinion in real time.
So it's like having this research assistant on demand.
Right.
And it's not just about finding information. It's about, what's the quality of that information? Is it accurate?
Yeah.
Because RAG can tap into so many different sources. It can really help mitigate bias.
Yeah.
Because it's giving you multiple perspectives. So you're getting a more complete picture.
Okay.
And that's crucial in today's world.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Aura, I think it's pretty clear this is not just another tech buzzword.
No.
It's a potential game changer.
It is. It really is.
And it could change how we learn, how we work, how
Yes.
we interact with the world.
It's so exciting, and I think it's really interesting that, Google Cloud is really pushing this forward and
Yeah.
making it accessible to everyone.
Well said. And for you, our listener, I'll leave you with this. We've talked about Ride's potential in chatbots.
Yes.
But imagine its impact on healthcare, on finance,
Yes.
or education. What could it look like to have this level of information access and accuracy
It is really something to think about.
at our fingertips in those areas?
It's really exciting.
It's definitely something to ponder as we step into this new era of AI-driven knowledge.